Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 167 of Schnozzcast. This is Bob, joined by my stalwart co-hosts, Nick, Cory, and Todd Dillon, with special guest Greg Gumtow, making another triumphant return. So many returns. What do we got for you tonight? Well, I'm glad you asked. We have a little bit of booze news, some arrogant grievances. We might get into some lightning round, gentleman's agreement, and end off with pick of the week. Look at those glorious motherfuckers right there.
Looking fantastic.
Like that color change?
Yeah. It's goddamn glorious, as I said before. Gentlemen, how are you?
Oh, good evening, Bob. I'm doing fantastic. Had a great week. How are you?
Good evening, Nick. I also had a great week. Todd Dillon, glad to see you back on the cast.
Good to be back, bitches. I'm super fly.
And, of course, Cory Slesky.
Oh, hey, Jesus Christ.
Finally, the orgasmic hay that we've all been waiting for on the edge of our seats.
I know.
You know, I will. So last week you did a quite fantastic breakdown of the evolution of the oh hey.
It was almost like the evolution of dance.
And I didn't. Yes, exactly. But I did not notice that you were going to have to continuously update that as the weeks go on. Apparently every week now it's going to be changing.
As we've seen, he takes things that we say to heart sometimes.
Yeah,
like once every 2 years.
Okay,
that was just out of pure frustration from the beginning of this episode.
I think it's because he was off for
true
3
professional,
days.
Cory.
He was off for 3
I
days.
tried.
He didn't have anything to do.
Greg Gumtow.
Yes.
Again, we'd love to have you here. Thank you for filling the seat admirably and showing off your classic collection of very expensive liquors. How is it that, this business of show that we're in is such a jaded affair?
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people just, let it go to their heads. How do you stay so grounded?
It's tough. It depends. Like in public, if someone catches me the wrong way, it could be trouble.
They get slapped in the face?
Like ego's so big. Can't walk through some doors.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The way I stay grounded on the podcast is with the Belvini. I bring it over and it just eases my pain.
I grab my favorite Kroger water.
I get my 17-year-old Belvini over, and she helps me.
Well, what the fuck? Why don't we do that? So, Greg, you got a 17-year-old Belvini. You've got a core hydration. You seem to be your goal tonight is to be very hydrated.
Always.
Okay.
Always.
So,
Word.
Yeah. So Belvini is going to be your shot and your drink.
Yep. I'm probably going to do a Coors Light probably after the break. Coors Light.
Yep.
And probably one more shot of Fireball and call it good on the shots of Fireball for the day.
That's a smart idea. That's what we should do. We probably won't. Cory, what do you got?
Still the hard soda.
Yeah.
Sticking with it.
Shot is?
Watermelon pucker.
Again.
Well, I think there's some butter shots over there, too.
Oh, yeah. If you combine all of those, maybe it will be the equivalent of one of our shots.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I don't feel anywhere near as bad waking up the next day after.
Yeah, because there's nothing in it.
Doing the watermelon pucker as I do Fireball.
And you should be staying away from sugar, but you're like, you know what I should do? I should stay away from the booze in these shots and only stick to sugary shots.
Exactly.
Our little boy's growing up.
Yeah.
There's not that much sugar.
It's less than 2 months now.
There's not
right?
that much sugar in pucker.
Less than 2 months until you got that ring
That's
on
the
your
first ingredient.
finger, right?
Yeah, 56 days, I don't know.
Well, we all should know because
someone's keeping count.
Someone's keeping very public and very frequent count on Instagram and elsewhere.
I feel like we should ship a grandfather clock to this house that just goes.
It's just a very loud,
Yeah, just like that.
a very loud ticking.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I need it on public record now that you guys have to go Monday to get your suits.
We are.
All
right,
I put it in my phone,
So
and then
did
I
I.
called him, and then I said, hey, man, I said, anytime sooner you get in your suit? And he goes, well, I'm going to go on Monday. I go, I'm going Monday.
You guys were going Mondays like Mondays and Mondays ago.
So we're making a day of it.
Nope. I never said I was going.
No,
at
we
any
never
given
said we
point.
were going.
This is the first time I committed to
We
a
said
day.
eventually we'll go. We never said a day.
And then I called
Yeah.
the
That
place.
is completely incorrect, but okay.
No, absolutely
You
not.
guys have said plenty of times after the cast, we've been up in the kitchen like, yeah, we're going Monday.
Keep it up. Maybe it'll be 2 Mondays from now.
You,
Doesn't do anything to us.
no, it
Let me
just
know,
gets you
let
out.
me know when I get a chance here.
What's that?
So I don't want to air anything publicly if it was meant to be private, but some of us got the save the date but didn't get an invite.
Oh, so did you talk to Mary?
I did. And so if we got quietly brushed off the list, just let a brother know.
Todd, I will tell you, you and my mother are still waiting on invites. So
What the fuck, man? So tell him now.
Todd, it's more of an Anglo-Saxon wedding.
With the internet as witness, is he invited to the wedding or not?
yeah, of course he is.
Okay, but
Dude,
hold on.
like, see,
Corey.
like half of our invitations have not gotten received yet.
So
Blink
just
twice
to,
if you're being forced to say this.
I don't want to make anybody sad here, but hey, I got a funny story once about I was invited to a wedding, and the husband to be goes, "It's my wedding too. You'll be there, Todd." And the day of the wedding, I was not invited. So just let me know, Corey, if I'm swept to the side. I get it.
No, you're definitely not. Like I said, my own mother hasn't gotten her invitation yet. So
Ask Danielle if I'm off the list because I know you don't have a say.
That's true.
that is very
true.
that is true. You hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, I got nothing to say about that.
Tell Corky to cancel some of those checks, and if Todd's not going,
Too late. We cashed him the day we got him.
Corey, we did.
Has
she did.
Has she also complained to you that she hasn't received an invitation?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, I don't know what the hell's going on with the U.S. Postal Service, but a couple people have.
Postal Service lost in the mail. Yeah.
You know, people have gotten their invitations. They've been shredded in half and taped back together.
Are you serious?
Swear to God.
It's oh my god, it's
Selesky Finn?
yeah,
Nope.
like this, like
As a matter of fact,
Not today.
her mom got hers, and on the back, all of the return information was all redacted.
okay,
Like someone took a huge black marker and struck everything out.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have no clue what's going on.
Feels like if I'm disinvited, a lot of other people got disinvited too. So
Todd, that is
some solace in that.
the most
No,
horseshit
hold on,
story
Todd.
I've ever heard.
You,
in my
you can
life.
only be disinvited if you were invited. And I'm
can't
not
get-
sure.
You can't get mad at the person if it's the postal service. So it's a perfect thing. Like, oh, that damn postal service again.
Postal Service.
Ripping up all the invitations. You know how much that happens.
Todd, what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Hey, I got myself. And before I'm going to preface it, New Belgium kicks out a new IPA every 13 days. It seems like. And so tonight, I'm actually drinking New Belgium's Voodoo Ranger line Future Hop IPA. So I'm getting that in the camera. It is magnificent.
Is that Obi-Wan Kenobi on the can? Who is that?
That's the Voodoo Ranger brother, man.
Oh, okay. Oh, I knew we got the new series coming on Disney Plus soon. I thought they were tie-in merchandising with Voodoo with New Belgium. All right,
Nope.
what's your shot?
Crown Apple, baby.
God damn it.
Hey, Todd, we got some Crown Apple here we can send you.
Yeah, we have plenty of it.
There's a funny story
Let's
behind
save
that.
it for another couple months until Todd comes into town.
Hey, then-
if in fact he's invited to your wedding,
Then you can have it.
which I'm really not sure. None of us are really sure yet.
Oh, let's see.
I'm not even sure at this point, Bob. Who knows?
Let's see here. Okay. Dillon. Oh, we got a couple things for Dillon. Selesky. That's one of our red flag names. Hold on one second. Let me type it into my phone. Hold on. It says here, mail carrier Phillips out of Roseville says to destroy on delivery. Done. Sorry. Big guys make those decisions. Henry Atkins told us to do it.
I feel like all of those things happened because there was this insufficient postage on every one of those invitations.
Again, if there was, I have nothing to do with it.
Corey's like, maybe. I don't know. I got nothing on this.
I don't even know what a stamp costs nowadays. Let's say it's 37 cents.
Really?
Like maybe there was like a
Maybe-
36
Cost
cent
37
stamp.
cents.
I have no idea.
I feel like there's a pile of ripped up invitations in Tijuana. Just
Yeah.
the Tijuana office.
Oh, we've been invited to the wedding. Are we going?
Oh, you say Selesky, huh? Yeah, we've been getting a lot of those.
Oh,
You don't know how hard it was for me to get in that mailbox after she dropped him off.
Nick, you're drinking what?
Same thing. I'm doing Blue Light and Fireball.
Alrighty.
Oh, not the same though, because last week we had Rebel Stoke.
Yeah. We're back to the Fireball. I got a little blackberry ale. Very tasty. So that's got to get us to housekeeping because we haven't even done that yet. So if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. You can find us here out on social media every week. We release on Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, approximately. But if you're looking for past episodes for us or to like, rate, and subscribe to us so you'll know we release every week, you can find us out on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Pandora, Audible, or anywhere else we can get a podcast. You can also follow us on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube at Schnozzcast. And by the way, if you do follow us out at any of those services, we do put a little bit of work into that every week. So there's new artwork that we release every week that gets tagged with the new episode dropping on Fridays, courtesy of Nick Bader over here to my left. Cory puts together a little video clip as a teaser for the upcoming episodes on Instagram, and then also post to YouTube. I might do an audiogram every week or so as a teaser as well. So definitely check us out. You can also email us at schnozzcast@gmail.com with your existential questions or requests for relationship advice. And you know what? Fucking get on it and send us a text or call us at 618-SHOCKER.
The Shocker line is open for a limited time.
365. Hey, as a newish host to the cast, Bob, and I'm asking the question just for a friend. This isn't for me at all, but so you listed all the things that people put, the extra work that people do. Do you ever post wiener pics out there?
Well, if you'd like to find out the answer to that question, you can subscribe to us and follow us on Instagram or Facebook.
Actually, that's funny that you asked because Cory was actually sent a wiener pic from someone that's been on the show.
Yeah.
We were doing shots, and it seemed like a great time to take a wiener pic for someone that names will not be said. And Cory just seemed like the best person to send it to. I mean, of all the people, all the fantastically gorgeous women, Cory Selesky came up in this person's mind. And unfortunately, I was there to witness it.
Nick took the picture.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not so funny now, is it?
How did I get?
Oh, it's always hilarious.
How did I get the extended arm in the photo? Don't worry, it was all bush. You couldn't see anything.
little mushroom sticking out.
Cory, let's do a little booze news.
Angry inch.
And now it's time for booze news.
All right, we got a couple of people who's got some booze news articles. Let's start with Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. I am. This story kind of struck home a little bit. I don't know why it struck me so deeply, but I think this is a great news story, and I'm hoping we can get some help from our fans out there. The Portland Pickles need your help finding their stolen mascot, Dillon T. Pickle. We don't relish telling you this, but it's kind of a big deal. The Portland Pickles baseball team says their beloved mascot, Dillon T. Pickle, has been stolen, and they are seeking the public's help in bringing him home safe. It all started in the Dominican Republic, where Dillon was making an appearance. Dude goes to the Dominican Republic on the regular. He was due to return to Oregon via New York City on January 31st. A week later, the team tweeted about jarring news. An alert message from Delta showing that the bag was traveling in had been lost somewhere in JFK. You win one championship this century, and you think you're good for storage on an airplane. The Collegiate Summer League tweeted to 29,000 followers. That's how big a deal this is, guys. We need your help in finding Dillon T. Pickle. Again, I'm not going to read the whole story, but that's my booze news for the week.
All right, Dillon T. Pickle. We'll be on the lookout.
I wish you had a picture to share so we could
no, please
like a
don't.
wanted picture.
No, please don't.
Like a wanted poster.
Please
Just
don't.
Pass it out there to all the audience.
Dillon or Pickle
Search on
picture.
NPR. This is nationwide. We know how important Dillon T. Is to the community, to the world, and so this is where we need our fans to really pony up. Google it. Look on NPR. It's the real deal.
Have
Find Dillon.
you let the appropriate authorities know that the Schnozzcast audience is on the job?
I have let everyone know because this is really near and dear to me.
It's a relative.
Dillon is actually spelled the same exact way.
What,
Oh, it's
pickle?
not a silent P? All right.
Nick, you got a story.
Yeah, short little booze news for you guys. So it says here that the famous Italian diver Enzo Maiorca dove into the Sea of Syracuse and was talking to his daughter, Rosanna, who was aboard the boat. They had some kind of communication whilst diving. Ready to go in when he felt something slightly hit his back underwater. He turned and saw what appeared... Those are the waves that he heard.
Wait. I missed it. What'd you say?
Yeah, there was a lot of feedback. So this Italian diver Enzo Maiorca dove into the Sea of Syracuse, was talking to his daughter over a system that allowed him to be able to talk underwater back and forth with her. Rosanna was his daughter. She was aboard the boat, ready to go in when he was attempting to come back up to the boat when he felt something slightly rub up against his back. He turned around and saw that it was a dolphin. When he realized that the dolphin didn't want to actually play with him, but was expressing some sort of distress and emotion, the dolphin quickly dove down deeper, and Enzo, curious, followed the dolphin. At a depth of about 12 meters, trapped in an abandoned net, there was another dolphin. Enzo quickly asked his daughter to grab a diving knife, who then threw it down. He was able to grab the diving knife. Soon the two of them managed to free the dolphin, the second dolphin, which at the end of the ordeal emerged and issued an almost like they described a human-like cry, described Enzo. A dolphin, just for everyone's information, apparently can stay underwater for about 10 minutes and then it ends up drowning because they do need to breathe. The released dolphin was helped to the surface by Enzo and Rosanna, his daughter, and the other dolphin followed suit. That's when the surprise came. The dolphin appeared to be pregnant. The other dolphin ended up being a male, ended up circling them, stopped in front of Enzo, touched his cheek with the bill of the dolphin's nose, such as a kiss and a gesture of gratitude, and they both swam off into the distance. Enzo Maiorca ended up his speech by saying, "Until men learn to respect and speak to the animal world, he can never know the true role on Earth." So I thought that was kind of cool. You know, I mean,
It's
dolphins
super cool.
are super smart as it is. There's been dolphins and like beluga whales. There was a video, if you're like, yeah, this didn't really happen. This sounds great, but it didn't. There's a video of someone in the Arctic, dropping a phone that goes down to the bottom of the water, and there's a beluga whale that swims to the bottom, picks up the iPhone, brings it very gently to the surface to the boat, and they're freaking out, oh my God, thank you. And they pet it on the head and it swims away. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Then it dies of bird flu that some human gave it.
What's that?
Then it dies of some disease that humans have.
Yeah, no, it died from COVID. There was COVID just riddled all over that phone.
My booze news is we got to talk about the slap. I assume that if you didn't watch it live, I watch it live. Did anybody else here watch it live?
No,
Wouldn't know what happened if the slap didn't happen. I wouldn't even know that was on.
Yeah,
neither would I.
I feel like the rest of the country's with you because, the ratings were not that great, but they surprisingly went up quite a bit at the end. So we don't need to rehash it, but long story short, Will Smith slapped the fuck out of Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars. Greg, I got to get your thoughts because I know, like, of all of the people that are here, I know Greg's the one who's going to have the most context as far as maybe some of the relationship history that Will Smith and Chris Rock had prior to the slap, or what he may have said in the past, or
Wait a minute.
your
Greg managed these two? I'm like, why is Greg uniquely classified? I want to get to the.
I would say uniquely qualified, and I say that because I didn't have a chance to talk to you beforehand, Todd. But I would say Greg is a student of film.
Nothing I can do about
Greg,
that.
being a student of film, built a goddamn theater in his house, and that's more than you or I have ever done, my friend.
That's true.
So I'll tip my cap to you, sir. So, Greg, your thoughts? What do you?
I know they had a little bit of history, not like the greatest relationship. I know they worked together early on in their careers, mid '90s, late '90s time frame.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think Chris Rock knew that she had that. I didn't know.
Alopecia?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even think it was a joke about that per se, but that's all in each person. It takes things individually differently. So
right.
But I mean, the slap wasn't bad.
As in execution?
Yeah. Like it wasn't good. Like it wasn't like oh my God.
He had some really good follow through based on some of the memes that I've seen.
But the limp wrist and it wasn't he laughed. I watched, there was a YouTube video. It was a guy who analyzes behavior, the way people stand, what they might be thinking, why they do certain things before something happens.
Sure.
And he broke it down.
Oh, did he? Okay.
I mean, it was a half-hour video, and I think I sat there and watched the whole thing. I'm like,
what was his conclusion?
He said it wasn't staged. Because that's I know the big thing was, it's a stage one because of the way that Chris leaned into it.
I don't
but
believe
then, but then
I didn't think it was staged. It was the. Here's the funny thing. He laughed about it, and then he saw how it hurt his wife. And in that moment, it didn't even matter that he laughed at the joke. He didn't realize. I mean, it was a bad joke. I don't think that he realized how his wife would take it. And then in that moment, he welled up. I'm going to defend my wife because even though I thought the joke was probably in poor taste, I giggled like 90% of the people in the room when you said it.
He did.
But she took it badly. And then as a husband, he's like, well, wait a minute, I'm going to address it. That's what I like Will Smith a lot. I think he made a big mistake in doing it because it's a bad joke, and he could have made a bad joke about Chris Rock cheating on his wife with a freaking computer because he's freaking addicted to porn.
Somebody already did that night. Somebody earlier in the telecast for the Oscars did make a joke about her boyfriend.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. I think at the end of the day, it was a bad joke. I get Will Smith's emotion in the moment when he realized this guy just hurt my wife, and so I think really he just wanted to defend. Because if somebody did something mean to my wife and Mary made the sad face, you're damn skippy. Somebody's going to get touched, and it's a mistake you shouldn't make. So you shouldn't lay your hands on anybody. I think it looks really really bad because again, who's punched anybody in the Oscars? And I know it's not a race thing, but it's sad because it's people who already people are afraid of them because of the violence. I think, I don't want to get political or anything, but and I got all off sidetrack. But yeah, I think it's sad. It's a sad thing, and Will Smith's mostly in the wrong.
It was the first time there'd been any violent encounter of any kind in the Oscars in over 100 years.
She's a toxic individual.
There's one reason why, for the ratings.
Yeah.
That would imply that they
staged it, and if I said,
that's because it was.
I don't think it did.
It was
No,
staged.
I don't think
not
it
at
was
all.
staged.
Will Smith
100%.
has everything to lose by slapping.
Absolutely.
him.
And I thought about that. Mike was telling me that he's like, it's so staged. You've seen the ratings have plummeted. I mean, not even like a little plummeted, like really, really, really like almost like should we even do this anymore plummeted.
No one watches it.
And which I would agree. I would agree that it was staged and all that. But the fact of the matter is Will Smith has always been a very likable actor. He's been a likable guy. He's been, even in his like raps and stuff, he doesn't swear, and he's always just been very, very likable. And for him, I can't see Will Smith signing on to say, I'll ruin my whole reputation. Just
they wouldn't do two A-listers. I mean, Chris Rock's a top-tier comedian.
Sure
Will Smith is a top-tier actor.
I could see.
100% agree.
What was that?
What's that, Todd?
So 100% agree. There's no way
No.
you pick those two guys who are at the top of the game, period. And you're exactly right. Will Smith's reputation, that's the whole, and his whole thing, he's a clean-cut in Bad Boys movies where it's on the verge of being bad form. It's amazing.
Well, remember too that he was nominated for Best Actor, and so but at the time of the slap, having watched it and then tried to process it, what actually happened, rewound like the Zapruder film to come back to figure out like, oh, that shit was real. The question was like, oh shit, he's nominated. What if he wins? Because he was probably the odds-on favorite as a tie to win that award. So if he wins, are they going to let him come up on stage?
Yeah, he could have been thrown to jail.
Yeah.
There's two groups of thought in my mind. One, I don't, after watching it several times and things like that, and seeing the photoshopped pictures of he's wearing a fake cheek and all that crap. No, I don't buy any of that. You can see on Chris's face. First, I mean, it's so sad because Chris Rock lived a super, super hard life. He was always picked on. He was young. He was a small kid. He was, by his own words, he was beat the fuck up. He was held upside down to where literally the money was shaken out of his pants when he was younger. He was sexually abused, and he grew up like going to all this fucking counseling because he was bullied so fucking much that at one point he ended up there was one person that he finally snapped and took a brick to that was bullying him and beat the fuck out of him almost till he died. And he said that was like the most traumatic thing that's ever happened in his life. And he spent years trying to get over it. And so he never wants that ever to come out again. So, which is why he was so like kind of taken aback when it happened. He's like, oh my God, I don't want this to ever happen. And yeah, he's, you got Chris Rock, who's what, 5'10", Will Smith, who's 6'2". But Will's not, some A-list. What is that?
That was your door,
That
sir.
was your door.
Is it like the wind? Does it keep blowing open? Because it's like,
No, I shut that door.
well, that means someone keeps walking in. So anyhow, but
All right.
On with the show.
Yeah.
But I give it to Chris Rock. Yeah, there's gonna be. I don't know if there was malice, but I certainly know that comedians have said so much worse, and nothing's ever happened to them. Regardless, there should not be an open door policy that if you don't agree with what a comedian says, that you can approach the stage and physically assault a comedian. I mean, it's
You could leave.
It's comedy. You can make a sign of protest. You and your wife shake your head. Come on, honey, and walk out. That would have made just as much of a fucking stir if Will Smith cradled his wife in his arms, shook his head in complete disgust, and walked out of the Oscars or whatever the fuck it's called. And but the fact that I think that there was so much shock that 90% of the people thought that it was some sort of skit.
Yeah, because you just don't expect. Plus, he approached your stage, and you've got two people that were previously friends, Rock and Smith. And Chris Rock had his hands behind his back.
Yeah.
He did not expect to be slapped. He thought maybe they're coming up to do a bit.
Yeah,
maybe he's going
exactly.
to give him a hug.
He thought he was coming up to verbally object to what he said after he said it. I'm sure is what was going through his mind.
He was in a very subservient stance.
He was in a very
He was in a
exposed
confident.
stance.
He was in a confident. I'm going to find the video and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
About the guy that does like the posture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the best part was
he leaned into it.
He was like, they say the reason he leaned into it was because it's so bright up there, and he's used to being up there on the stage. So instead of like looking in, he kind of like peers in.
Yeah.
So it makes it look like he was taking the slap, but he didn't know what was going on.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was taking this.
And then the Will Smith, because he broke down Will Smith's acceptance speech and just how he was, and broke down that whole thing. I'll find that video. It's about.
I mean, I think you've got this. I think Chris was completely caught off guard. I don't think it was a horrible off-color joke. I mean, you've got a roast where.
Can I think so. So here's the thing with that. I disagree with you a little bit, because here's the thing, Chris. It's funny when you were kind of listing off what Chris Rock went through in his childhood, and this is not me trying to steal or align myself with Chris Rock in any way. But I experienced the same thing. I was bullied in grade school, and in fact, in high school, I was bullied so much that I joke. People always joke about I always have hard nipples. When I was in my freshman year in high school, a junior would pick me up by my nipples every day off the ground and taunt me by holding me off the ground as long as he could. And so I have perma erect long nipples for a man until one day I threw him out of a window. His upbringing isn't any different than a lot of people. And at the end of the day, and again, I haven't lived a clean life either. I'm a guy who does fight. I think I do myself do not a good job of representing a person who can think rather than fit. In that regard, I think I don't give Chris Rock a pass. He's a professional comedian. I think good publicity and bad publicity are both good. He told a really, really bad joke that he knew was potentially going to hurt a person. And I think that he did it too, because as much as people say, oh, they were friends back in the day, you don't know how close they were. They might have known each other, gone to a couple parties and maybe hung out a little bit. But if they weren't really friends and it's always been just a close acquaintances, I could see where him hurting your wife in this moment, you don't know what they're going through at home. He boiled over, blew up, walked up there. Chris Rock leaned in because of the lights. I think he told a really bad joke, and while he shouldn't have gotten slapped, he was thinking he's going to get skewered in the media, which was going to be okay because people forget that. But now it's etched in stone because even though I get why he did it, if somebody did it to Mary, I don't know that I would have the fortitude. If somebody made my wife cry, they're going to get Todd Dillon, and it's not the human I'd like to be. I'll say that right going in, and I think. Will Smith did a good job of saying he did the same thing. He's a human being. He made a mistake. It's not what I would expect from him, and it's a bummer that he did it because Chris Rock.
Yeah, but he did not. He didn't. His speech didn't include any apology to Chris Rock.
I'm torn with
you know what I mean?
Jada Pinkett Smith, because just right before that, she's like, I have alopecia. I really don't care what people think or what people say.
But okay,
so if you're going to take that complete,
women say that all the time.
I know, but you don't put it on social media with her following.
They do. If you ask Mary, here's the thing: if you ask Mary to go on a boat ride tomorrow, she's not going to tell you that she's afraid of the water. She's not, and if she listens to this podcast, she's going to yell at me for saying she's afraid of the water. She's terrified of the water. She's never ever going to say it, and she would put her life in danger to not admit that she's terrified of the water. That's. So, I don't want to paint with a broad brush about women, but it's a thing I've observed.
I mean, let me give this example. There was a roast going on where, and you're a comedian, so if you're in the audience, you're fair game. You're fair game, okay? And let's not forget freedom of speech, okay?
Agree.
They are words. They are words. Hold on. I let you talk. So now, what I'm trying to say is someone made a joke about ashes that were Pete Davidson's dad because he died in 9/11. Now that I would feel would be a drawing the line fucking joke. Like, this is your dad died in something that's very, very, very near and dear to the entire country's heart. Now, a G.I. Jane joke, it was probably in poor taste.
But G.I. Jane's character itself is a very strong character. That's the thing.
We are assuming
that he knew.
That he knew.
But we never know. Regardless,
we don't know.
How many times have comedians called Lisa Lampanelli and joked about her weight, how fat she was, and all this other stuff? And that's fine. That's okay. That was probably more insulting, or your dad burning up to a crisp. I think that's extremely insulting. But the fact of the matter is if this was a situation where they were in the after party or they were at the bar or they ran into each other and Chris said, hey, man, love to see your wife in the next G.I. Jane flick, Will should cock back and punch his fucking lights out. I wholeheartedly agree with I could understand that. But on a stage where he's performing his job as a comedian, walk up and protest and leave. You'll get just as much publicity.
Or walk up to someone who's supposed to be, publicly anyway, your friend, put your arm around him, grab the microphone and go, did you know that she's got alopecia?
Yeah, that would be...
That joke's kind of in poor taste. Like, man, I love you, brother, but that was kind of a little below the belt. Let's talk about this afterward, but man, don't do that again.
And the
Lots to dissect in these exchanges. I think I agree. Here's the thing.
Hold on, Todd. Before you say that, I want to point out that Will Smith was nominated for Best Actor that night. At the time of the slap, he didn't know if he was going to win or not. But if he knew that, he knew that if he did, he would only be the 5th black actor in history to win that award, joining the company of Denzel,
Whoopi Goldberg.
Say it again, Todd. Sidney Poitier. Just passed.
One.
Yeah. So, and not to mention it would be his first Oscar. Right. He was nominated 2 or 3 times previously, and so it was a huge night for his career, and for all of his people who are fans of Will Smith, a noteworthy thing. And to do something like that was so in between the slap and the speech when he actually won. You already know that you've tainted not just your win, but the entire awards show forever. And then to get up and give a speech in which you strike a tone of like, motherfuckers just got to do what motherfuckers got to do. Like love makes you do crazy shit. Not a word to Chris Rock. That I think was a really almost worse than the slap. Like, you can lose your temper, but at the end of the day, you've had now some time to think about what you did and some counseling from Denzel and
Your
other
publicist,
people, your publicists all over the place. I'm sure they were swarming. And then you get up and give a speech like that in which you're like, hey, just like Venus and Serena dad, I just was fucking protecting people, and I guess sometimes you got to hit a motherfucker.
And I'm sorry to the Academy. That was
it was just a weird. Like, I think that the speech did more to tarnish his reputation and his career than anything else. And then subsequently we learned that since that time he's apologized publicly to Chris, not publicly, but on Instagram. I don't know if he actually called him directly, but an Instagram apology is not an actual apology.
Yeah, because his publicist could have wrote all of that. He
Exactly.
could have had nothing to do with that.
Exactly. And then I heard he actually resigned from the Academy.
He did, yeah.
As a show of like good faith, but they're still gonna.
It's one step in the right direction.
It is, and Rock has had nothing publicly to say about it other than a stand-up show he was in which he's like,
I'm not talking about it yet.
Yeah, when I do, it's gonna be serious. It's gonna be funny.
He actually had some hecklers scream "fuck Will Smith" twice.
He stopped him,
and he shut him down
like a gentleman.
Yeah, but in here's my takeaway. My opinion, my very small opinion of not knowing much of what's going on in any of their lives, it seemed very latent to me. It didn't seem like Chris Rock was the problem. It seemed like latent hostility. The lack of reaction from Will initially, and then seeing his wife's reaction and being forced into reacting, it seemed to me like Will has had like a lot of animosity of things going on in his marriage, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and that was the first fight he could jump into, and I don't think it really had too much to do with Chris Rock. I think it had
Kirk Strack just was the
he was the catalyst,
unfortunate recipient of that,
and I think it had to do with the shit he's dealing with at home, that he probably just loves her and is trying to go along with it, and he's like, I gotta be, and especially
I gotta protect you.
It's not a punch; it's a slap. A slap is more insulting, than a punch to the face, and it just not to mention, we don't know how many drinks he had. He could have been sitting there. They could have had a pre-show party. All poor taste. I mean, to walk onto you're on camera. Logically, none of it makes sense. And I get it. It was an emotional thing, but clearly it wasn't something that upset him initially. It was something that he felt he had to do at that point in time. And knowing more than I need to know about, quote unquote, his marriage, it seems like maybe this is a lot of that part of their marriage is her idea, not necessarily his. And he's got these kind of built up emotions, and that was just the first fight he could jump into, and I think it was the wrong one. But to always play the devil's advocate, as we would say in law enforcement, no complainant, no crime. And Chris Rock does not want to report any charges, doesn't want to file any charges. So it's as if it didn't happen, because it's not illegal if the person does not want to press charges. So it means nothing. but it upsets me that there's that level. There's a group of individuals, regardless of if it's Will Smith, if his wife has fucking cancer, alopecia, I don't care what the fuck it is. It's a situation where we're in a society here, and we have rules. And regardless of what event it is, the fact that because of their status, because they're celebrities, because I don't care who it is, white, black, doesn't fucking matter. That person should have been escorted out. Case in point, it doesn't matter who they are. Violence does not beget violence, and it could start a snowball effect that we will now see at comedy shows around the country.
I can't wait for somebody to jump up on stage and
we
try to cancel Rogan.
We could.
Did you see Segura's interview?
You know, we're sending this message that this is okay. This is all right, because you're not going to be escorted out. You're going to be able to be congratulated and happy and thank your mom and everybody. Like, no, I don't care. I don't care if it was my own mom. If this were to happen, get her or whoever the fuck it is out of there. You know,
I disagree with you at all. I think he should have been escorted out, and I think that should also have been a little bit of the sadness of the moment, in that he still won. He should have won the award. Now, if they took it from him after the fact, would have been okay. But I think it should have been, hey, and the winner of whatever he won it for, Will Smith, but unfortunately he got thrown out because he did a thing that he shouldn't have done. That's never been done here, and so he's not here. And so here's the award. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
move on.
He violated our community standards and guidelines of the academy, and he violated the law. And regardless of, sorry, anytime we stop, Todd, it's because it's making that noise.
Sorry.
And no.
Not your fault.
Yeah.
And regardless of if Chris Rock does not want to press charges, he could just be a nice guy or it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that we have policies and rules here as part of this prestigious event, and it's not just going to be chaos where anyone can do what they want. They should.
There's two things I wanted to make sure before we move on, and I know we're beating this horse, but there's two things.
No, but it was one of the biggest stories. And by the way, it happened like a week ago almost, and people aren't going to be hearing this for another week. So, but yeah, I think it was something we needed to address. Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah. So the one important point, because Nick said it, and I just want to get this on the record, Nick. You should rethink the thing. I don't think there's a line in comedy at all. I think like you said, you made a subjective reference to like Pete Davidson's dad who died in 9/11, a horrific thing. But not everybody on this planet has the same emotional attachment to that for many different reasons across the board.
Sure.
And so in comedy, I don't think that there is a line. And so in that regard, I think that Chris Rock was well within his rights to tell the joke that he told. I think that it was a bad joke in poor taste.
Sure.
Whether you knew about the alopecia or not, just because you're ripping on another dude's wife. There's always the opportunity, no matter what business you're in. If you say something about somebody else's wife, you're messing with a powder keg, because emotions, you don't know that the emotions are around it. So again, I know I've kind of squished over, but I'm like, I think comedy, unfortunately, but here's the funny thing. Here's how I draw the line. I've heard many a comedian tell racist jokes, but I can always tell the vibe, in my opinion, when the comedian tells the joke and he's really comfortable with it, he's at home, or he's like just good at his craft and he's getting the crowd reaction. And so at the end of the day, I choose, there are comedians that I like and I don't like, and so I vote with my feet. And I think that comedy should be not subjective. I don't think there is a line. I think you tell the joke you want to tell and let the chips fall where they may, and let people vote with their feet. Otherwise, you do get in a situation where this Will Smith thing becomes more than another, because the next thing is to rip on somebody. I mean, ultimately, can you imagine ripping on the Queen when she dies on that day? Somebody's going to want to kill somebody. They can't do it because comedy doesn't have a bound, unfortunately. It just is.
But all the more that I absolutely agree with your sentiment. Will should have agreed or should have voted with his feet and walked out.
100%. That would have been the perfect thing.
And they actually showed the PSA from when he was younger, like promoting how people should go against violence and walk away and never.
But that's why, again, I may sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. At the end of the day, Will Smith's a human being. I've done many things in the moment that aren't characteristic of Todd Dillon, even though I sometimes come across as a bully. I've done things that I'm not proud of, knowing better. And we all have. We're humans. He's a human being. And like I said, that's the sad part of it. He's a human being who's got a lot of clout with people of all walks of life. And it sucks that he was the one who set in motion a new thing. Because, again, it might not happen next year or 2 years from now. Next time, why not go any given Sunday where somebody brings a gun into the thing and shoots a dude because he makes a bad joke.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's, we're going to inch towards that point. I mean, on the other side of the coin, Chris is a human being, and he made a very small mistake in comparison to someone assaulting somebody.
Small is subjective. It depends in the moment. That's what I'm saying. That volatile thing, it's always the small thing. Right? How many people have gotten punched in the eye because they bumped into somebody's girlfriend? Right? I mean, it can be really, really, really small. I'm just saying it.
and I'm agreeing with you. I said in a bar setting, there's guys that will, defend their honor of their lady, but you know that there's a million fucking cameras and you're on fucking national television and you're in a tuxedo and that you're physically, premeditatingly walking onto a stage to have time, like the 15, 20, 30 seconds to think that I'm going up to hit this person in the face on live television in front of my friends and family and the whole world. Like, that is not a whims where someone makes a joke about my wife.
I think you're trying to say whim.
Whim, where someone makes a joke about
all the whims.
I put S's on everything. Where someone makes a joke about my wife, and I was a little overserved, and I punched him in the face at the bar. And you're gonna press charges. Maybe you're not. It happens. But you are sitting in your seat, and you're making this decision in front of all these people at this prestigious event, and you're like, I'm going to get up, and I'm going to walk, and everyone's going to wonder what I'm doing, and then I'm just going to slap the shit out of you, and then I'm going to go sit down, and then I'm going to start screaming and swearing. It's
not only that, but he was laughing at the joke until he looked over and he's like, "Oh fuck, she didn't care for that."
Because she's a toxic person.
He made that decision, and then to your point, Nick, made a long walk during which he had plenty of time to think about what he was going to do.
Yep. So this is not for the show, but remind me when we're offline, boys, to tell you about the Scotty Farwell affair.
You mean the Scott Farkas affair?
No, the Scotty Farwell affair. I want to emblazon this. I'm not ever going to tell the story on the podcast.
Yeah,
we need to talk it offline.
I'll tell you this right now because I don't know who Scotty Farkas is, but
Scott Farkas was in the Christmas Story.
Yeah.
He was the bully.
He was really honestly. Yeah. But I would say this: had this not happened, and had a TMZ story or something came out where it said at an Oscars after party, Chris Rock and Will Smith happened to be in the same bar, and Chris made the same comment to Will by his wife. Within earshot, and Will smack the fucking shit out of him, I'd be like, fuck yeah, Will. Good job.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily have done it myself. I don't know. I'm not in that situation. But I've been like, it's what he fucking deserves. But not in that setting. He was on stage. It was a comedian.
It was an historic win.
Yeah. For
Will Smith and for black actors everywhere. And for it to be overshadowed by that is
it's sad.
Think about Questlove, who won for Summer of Soul, and he's the Oscar he won the Oscar that Chris Rock was trying to present. In his whole speech, no one was looking at Questlove. No one was listening to Questlove. They're just looking at Chris Rock on the right side of the camera view to see who he was making eyes with in the crowd, going like, I don't know what happened. It's a sad state of affairs because I've seen that movie that he won for. I've assigned it to people. Like, it's a great fucking movie, and it's all he's been thinking about for 3 or 4 years, making the movie and then trying to promote it, et cetera, et cetera. It's a sad state of affairs, and there's other people involved in the show in the Oscars and in the context of the scenario beyond Will Smith, and those are the people that he wasn't thinking about at the time. So hopefully, I like Will Smith. I'm sure he's a good dude that means well, and everybody has, to Todd's earlier point, everybody has, a moment of weakness,
breaking point.
It's how you present yourself following that moment of weakness, and that's where I go back to his speech after he won, which I'm sure was a tidal wave of emotions, but I thought that really could have been handled a lot better than he did, and by him resigning from the Academy right now, apologizing on Instagram to Chris Rock. Hopefully he reached out to him in some way. That's the shit that he's got to do, because he's got to climb his way back up to where he was, which, I think everyone could probably agree. He worked really hard to get to where he was and have the kind of reputation that he has that transcends American cinema.
I mean,
he's a global superstar.
I mean, he was always one for, Will Smith doesn't swear in his raps, and he's doing PSAs, and he's the genie in Aladdin, and he's kid friendly and family friendly and all this stuff like that. So it just, I guess for me mostly it was kind of upsetting, because I thought he was a really classy guy, and I know he's human, but we're all human, and at a certain point that excuse doesn't fly. I can't be like, well, I said something about my mom, I killed someone. I'm human. I still understand it.
Wait, you killed someone?
I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, we still have to have self-control.
This is his first defense. So again, give him more runway. I mean, to our knowledge, this is his first offense.
Right. The beauty of being Will Smith is that you make that. Sorry, Todd, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I think there's a delay, but don't let this be the measure of him. I think. Chalk it. It was bad behavior. No objection there at all. Shouldn't have done it. Bad, really bad. But it doesn't tell me what Will Smith is. It's one data point, and all the other data points are really positive.
But I'd like to use that sound clip to bring a close to this topic from Todd Dillon. Bad, really bad. Period.
Very, very bad.
Very, very bad.
Nobody likes it. Such a bad thing.
All right.
Really bad.
Todd, we got a few more minutes before we're going to break.
Okay.
I feel like in the midst of your diatribe concerning Will Smith and
you broke up.
In the midst of your diatribe concerning Will Smith and Chris Rock, you may have had some airing of grievances.
I do. And it's about entertainment. This is actually a quick one since we don't have that long. But here's my grievance. So I was a huge fan as a child. I grew up with a television show called Kung Fu, where Kane, David Carradine, or one of the Carradines, was raised by monks, and he walked the earth in the Old West, and he was like a superhero with the ways of the Shaolin monks who knew all mad Kung Fu. And so there was a lot of fighting. Loved that show. That was like a family staple in my home. We watched as a family. Loved Qui-Gon Kane. There's a reboot of Kung Fu that is now based with, and I watched the pilot. It's the new Qui-Gon Kane is actually a woman, and she has been trained by monks, and she was away from her family because the family dynamic was toxic. But again, she got caught up with the monks, and now she's this modern superhero. And so I watched the pilot, and it was, again, like any pilot, it was not very good. But now they got to get their footing together. So recently, I've watched one of the later episodes, and here's my grievance. The name of the show is Kung Fu. Now, even the show started out with dudes punching things, breaking sticks, breaking boards and bricks and all that stuff. Kung Fu, right? And then kicking and fighting. And then within 7 minutes into the show, there's already been at least one Kung Fu scene where Qui-Gon Kane got disrespected and jumped over a bar and kicked a dude in the face, right? I watched 45 minutes of the new Kung Fu before I even knew who the new Qui-Gon Kane was or a punch was thrown.
Oh, that's not good.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching it because I love it. The new dynamic is it's the superheroes and the family are all Asian, and I'm like, I love it. It's just like kind of the Blackish thing. You get a glimpse inside of the normalcies, or at least the generalizations around Asian culture and how respecting the family and them stealing dumplings rather than people trying to slice off pieces of the turkey. I love the theme. I love everything about what they're trying to do. But you can't have a show called Kung Fu and then wait 45 minutes.
I don't agree with that. 100% disagree. Burble.
Todd, what you can't see, and while you might be able to see, but what the audio audience can't see, because microphones aren't labeled on podcasts when you're listening to things.
They're not?
Bob switched over from his microphone to Nick's microphone.
No, I didn't.
And then put on a
I'm
terrible
Nick.
impression of being Nick,
I'm Nick Bader.
thinking that the listeners were going to be able to differentiate between Nick's microphone and Bob's microphone.
I am appalled by this Kung Fu reference that you're making.
Yes. So that's what's happening right now.
Dude. And then to make matters worse, to end my grievance though, to make matters worse, I haven't watched an episode of Flash in a while because, again, we're talking about a superhero speedster that is supposed to be solving crimes.
Oh,
with his speed. But these days, dude, that dude, he like makes it, he's like zipping to the bathroom to go to the bathroom. Otherwise, the metaverse has tapped me and I can't go fast anymore. Flash is all about dude standing still. It's fucking horrible. If you have a show that's called Flash, 80% of it should be dude going fast.
100% agree.
Yes. So
Yeah, I don't know who'd disagree with that. I think your last two grievances were spot on, sir.
you can't have a show called
Spot on. All right, well, I wasn't sure if we were going to take a break or not, but I feel like we're going
Not
to keep
yet.
on going.
Not at the moment.
Did you see the meme I shared?
Did you share it from the bathroom?
No.
Okay.
I shared it yesterday.
I was on a podcast, so I'm not looking at my phone.
It was Will Smith as the Fresh Prince.
Okay.
And it said, I got one little fight about my wife's lost hair. She said, you better slap Chris or I'm going to have an affair.
Yes.
If nothing else, I've gotten some really good memes.
Oh,
of
this
this
was super good.
whole
Did you see the one
situation.
about, and somebody said, I can't remember where I think it was maybe Jimmy Kimmel was doing his monologue. And he's like, what the fuck? We had multiple Spider-Mans in the audience and no one could save Chris Rock? And then somebody came up with a meme of somebody doing like a Doctor Strange portal on the stage and Spider-Man swinging through and pulling Chris Rock out of the way.
I did.
It was fantastic.
I did have to stop a Facebook fight on my post.
A Facebook fight on your post?
Yeah.
Oh, the one I commented on?
Yes.
What were they fighting about?
A friend of mine, she does have alopecia, and she's like, I don't see what the issue is.
She has a little thicker skin than G.I. Jane.
Well, she goes, well, the G.I.
Oh!
Jane
Oh,
character
sorry.
is a strong character.
It was a very strong-
It's a very strong character.
Right.
again.
Oh, hold
again,
on. Todd's got something to say.
Again, I don't want to overstate this, but there is a strong affinity with black people and their hair in our history.
So I was going to say that because that's what one of my friends, that's what she says. She's a black lady. It's just,
Right.
She's married to one of my best friends, and that's what she said. And I was like, I totally can see that side of it because the customer base.
Black hair has been abused in this country for a
Yeah.
long
Yeah, but
Well,
hold
that's
on.
the
But
thing.
it was Chris Rock, a black man, who made the joke.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And didn't Chris
It
Rock
doesn't
do
matter.
a show called Good Hair?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He hit the nerve that worked for him. If he'd called his wife the N-word, it would have been a bad joke that he didn't get punched for.
Let
Yeah.
me
All
just say this. I
Are
think
we still recording?
Yeah.
All right.
let me just say this. I think Jada looks great. I mean, her hair looks great.
I don't see what the problem is.
She's got hair.
Because again, if your wife says she's fat and you say you look great to me, she's not going to go, oh, then I'm skinny.
So
I get the
even
discomfort.
at like a low level comedy show, like someone's like, "Oh, your big wife."
This is not a low-level comedy
That's
show.
what I'm saying. That all the more reason.
No, I'm not.
Walk up on stage,
Look,
just punch someone in the face.
Hold on.
Wrong. It's the wrong reaction. It's bad. But it's a bad joke.
But hold on. This is why there's context, and this is why we've spent a lot of time talking about this. To Cory's chagrin, I think he's like, I keep looking over like
This is the dumbest thing ever, to be honest with you.
Yes, it might have been a poor joke. She also contributed by making the gas face on camera. And over to her husband to go like, are you going to fucking do something about this? To further fuel that.
I didn't see her urge him to do it. And again,
dude,
why are you...
He was laughing at the joke before.
in the moment. Who knows this? We are human beings.
I saw it because I watched it.
We're human beings and we react weirdly. And sometimes bad things happen.
Todd, all I want to hear, because you're dancing this habitual line, all I want to know is decision. Was it a bad move?
By Will Smith?
Yes.
Yes.
Not was it a bad move, but Chris made a bad joke, and you don't know about someone's wife, but was it a bad move? That's it.
100% bad move.
That's
bad
it.
Actor should have been thrown out of the building.
That's it. That's all I want to know. That makes me very happy to hear, because I was.
He should have been ejected from the building.
Yes.
Right.
Todd, all I want to know is, if you do end up getting invited to the wedding, are you coming?
Yes, that's why I'm actually pressing the issue, because me leaving town with 2 dogs is not trivial. So lots of things have to come into place. So I need to be able to know that I'm actually invited. So if I'm off the list, I will still love you, but just let me know.
Like I said, you're not off the list. I know that for sure.
Hey,
Talk to your wife. Figure if I'm still on the list.
Not the wife yet.
And Cory also said this is one of the dumbest things we've ever talked about. But however, we spent like 30 minutes one time talking about what flip-flops he would wear on Mount Everest. So I don't know if this is the dumbest conversation we've ever had.
You know what? We only talked about it for this long because the people who were talking thought it was interesting. What really matters is anybody listening, and do they find it interesting? Who can say?
The entire world's talked about it. It doesn't make a difference in any of our lives.
No.
So at the end of the day,
neither did the shoes that you're wearing up Mount Kilimanjaro.
But that's for humor. That's for humor.
Yeah.
This is just everyone's talking about this. It doesn't matter. It happened. Who cares?
It happened. And by the way, all of us here, especially on this show and everywhere else, we are not involved in their daily lives. We have no insights into the relationships, good or bad, in their homes. We're not there. We get what's filtered out to us that either somebody stole or got poor context on or got the right deal. I mean, ultimately, we don't know any of these people. So I think it's interesting. It's always you always with these things put plenty of salt on it. Thank you, Bob. Yeah. I'm watching you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You really don't have to. No one else is.
My only disagreement with that, and we can move on, but my only disagreement with that is that it sets a precedence. And I don't want there to be copycats.
Yeah,
and that's
agreed. They should have thrown him out. That at the end of the day, that would be my review. Why didn't he get thrown out right away? And from now on, people get out of their seat and approach anybody in a violent manner. They get escorted out.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. I mean, even no slap. You're walking up on stage. It's not your fucking turn. No. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Send that kung fu chick up there to frickin' regulate. So at least
I got to figure out who this kung fu chick is.
From the slums of Shaolin.
All right, we'll do another Schnozzcast shot. We're ready for that? All right. So, per the tradition, if you don't have a shot, go get it right now and pause yourself on the podcast. We'll wait.
Or pause us.
Yeah, that's fine. You're pausing life, really, is what you're doing. And you're back. Join us. Cheers. There's the clink I know and love.
Oh, yeah, I've been waiting for that. Sweet, sassy molassie. So, very, very quick story I want to tell you guys about my interaction with the pizza delivery girl, which is probably not as fantastic as you're probably imagining. So
Dude, don't spoil my
I know. So there's when I stay out at my uncle's during the week, I work with him. I work like an hour away from home. It makes more sense. He's like 5 miles up the road from where we work. So he's got spare bedrooms and stuff. I stay out there. And oftentimes after, 11-hour day of cooking and doing things like that, you just want someone else to make food for you, no matter if it's good or not. That's nice. And so
Getting ready.
this is like a podunk town where he lives, and everything just shuts down. And so by the time we get back, it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and there's only a few places that are open to bring you food. One of the places is Marco's Pizza. And I found out the hard way that there's only like one delivery girl. And she's not very light on her feet. She's a redhead. She's probably 15 to 20 years older than me. And she likes to talk more than I do.
That's not possible.
No way.
Oh, yeah, all of the things you said are not possible, especially the last one.
Oh, it's so possible. And
What does not light on your feet mean?
what
Is a heavier set woman.
she's a little she's a little heavier. She's a little thicker, yeah. And so the first couple times Mike would answer the door, and weeks went on, and there'd be some small banter, and that'd be it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start ordering pizza because I'm not going to wait for Mike. And so I would order pizza, and I realized it was a big mistake. And every time I'd go to
Someone say steak.
what?
Someone say steak.
Yeah, seriously. And so in recent history, he installed a Ring doorbell. So now anytime that there's motion, it plays like wind chimes on his phone very loudly. So we always know when they're there. And so I go, and I'm like, God, I hope it's not this fucking bitch again, And so she goes, she's like, hey,
Jesus Christ.
how's it going? I'm like, oh, hey. And at first it was very nice. I mean,
She's probably a really nice person.
she was very nice.
Now she's a heavyset bitch, too.
But
Jesus, this lady can't win.
Yeah, exactly.
every time I would go to the door,
And a soulless ginger.
every time I go to the door, it's after a long day. I'm smelling like fish fry.
Hey, hold on. I gotta defend my soulless ginger. I'm not gonna come over and slap you in the face. I'm just gonna say, hey man, I want to watch that.
You heard me. You heard me, Lori. Soulless ginger.
I'm like, wait. I'm like, what part of you is
Yeah, hold on.
ginger?
No. I gotta defend my soulless ginger. Apparently.
Oh no, she was born a blonde. She's not a real ginger. So anyhow, so I'd go to the door, and every time, like the first time was very interesting. She's like, people ask me why I do this, and I'm like,
Do they?
I'm sorry, and she's like, people ask me why they do this. I make $1,000 a week, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm just looking for the change, That's and
Can I have my fucking change, please?
yeah. And she's like holding the pizza for ransom. And she's like, yeah, I do this all the time, and, I make $1,000. I'm like, all right, whatever. So that was the first encounter. Every consecutive encounter.
So the impression you gave her on your first encounter was you're a dick.
No, I humored her. I was like, oh, that's great. I was like, that's fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing. Anything you can say, like, go
Totally
away.
supportive.
Go away. Great. You make money.
Go away.
That's fantastic.
You do you.
Again, totally supportive.
It's freezing cold outside, and
you were inside.
I'm in pajama shorts with
You
the
were
door
inside.
open, with the door open in a white T-shirt,
Shorts in the wintertime.
because I'm inside. But now the door's open, and I've got this Hamburg breeze blowing up my shorts, and my pizza is getting very cold because she's holding it for ransom so she can have a conversation with me. And I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. You make $1,000. Yeah, you told me last time. I get that. So now every other, so it's like every couple. What's that?
Which visit was it, first or second?
So the first visit was the I make $1,000 a week, and then I realized that's like her go-to. So anytime.
I know if you put out.
Good, Todd. It's funny you mentioned that because I guarantee you there is actually one person at that house that has put out to that chick.
I'm sure.
And his name is Mike.
I'm sure.
Thanks for the food today, Mike.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So
Way
it's
to show
this,
your gratitude.
it's this like forced social interaction when there's not much time at the end of my day, and I just want a hot pizza. And Mike has moved the microwave from his house, so you're gonna heat up the oven.
Hold on. What?
He took the microwave and put it at work, and he no longer has a microwave. So now I'm like,
fuck?
I want this pizza, and I don't want to have to fucking wait for the oven to heat up. Let's
So you
take it
should
while it's hot.
have put out like the bitch you are. You should have put And
No.
then you got your.
No, this is not the agreement. You deliver the pizza and you walk away.
Hold on, we gotta let if we can't see Todd, we can't see you.
Todd
on the
said I
screen.
should have put out. Is what he keeps saying.
No, but if if there's a break in the conversation, we gotta let.
The wind blow by.
If there's a break in the conversation, we gotta let Todd respond.
No, it's just difficult. I don't know if
I
he's
know.
talking or
No,
not.
no, you're doing the best you can. We all are.
So anyhow, there was one other time that she came and she goes, listen, she's kind of like a kick you in the balls kind of girl, like ball busting. She's like, hey, listen here. You know, you and your uncle, and you're going to have to stop ordering all these fucking pizzas because it's not good for you. And I'm like, yeah, great.
All right, Tubby.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, what are, and she's like,
You guys aren't reading the room. This woman is saying, I want to move in with you and cook for you. I want to sweet love to you. And you're not freaking going out. You freaking prude.
Todd, I can most definitely tell you the only reason she spends more than 2 minutes at that door is just because of Mike. Mike has held her there, I'm very sure, for at least 15 minutes before, and was telling her, "Oh yeah, baby, sweetie, you're so
sure.
beautiful." And Todd,
I'm sure, honestly.
you
I
have
agree
tried
with
to
you.
make bets with me before on things, and I have not taken you up on it. This one, I will 110% take you up on in a heartbeat, no matter what amount of money you want to put down on it. That's how sure I am on this.
And
My take still, though, is if she's sweet-talking Nick at the door, if he drops trout the next time that pizza shows up, he's going to get made to him and a pizza for half price.
Oh, I should be getting free pizzas, but it's not about that at this point. And so, of course, then she goes into, she's like, oh, delivering pizzas. I go, yeah, you get $1,000 a week. Yeah, I understand. And she's like, yeah, I do. And I'm like, no, I know. You've told me like 3 times. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, yeah. So she's still going on. She's like, oh, have a great night. So I'm like, all right. So we start ordering from somewhere else. And, but they close early, and Marco's is always open. So the following week,
I think we've said too much about this place.
Fuck.
the following week, I'm like, I don't care. I just want fucking pizza. And so I ordered another one, and it had been like a week and a half. And so all of a sudden his phone goes off, bring, 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 the bells and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, I'll see you in 20 minutes. And so I go to the door 2 seconds away.
In your grundles.
No.
Okay.
And she's like, oh, how's it going? Long time no see. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what do I owe you? She's like, I just want to say, I've been missing you guys.
What in the fuck is with the chatty delivery people
I
in
don't-
this little burg that you're in?
It's not delivery people. It's person. Delivery person.
Go
This is it.
Go elsewhere.
There's nowhere else to go.
Go elsewhere.
So she goes, yeah. She goes, I was starting to worry about you guys because I said, listen, you weren't starting to worry about us because last time I talked to you, you told us we were eating too much pizza. So that's why we weren't ordering it. She's like, oh, well, I'm sorry. No, she's like, I like seeing you guys. You should order a lot more pizza. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. Have a good night. So fast forward now to 3 days ago that I needed to order a fucking pizza.
Are you engaged?
No. And so I told Mike, I said, I loathe this fucking pizza delivery woman. I'm like, I just want
But
pizza.
you're a glutton for punishment.
I want pizza so bad, and there's nowhere else
Jesus fucking
there's
Christ.
nowhere else to go.
Shit. You love her. Go get your own damn pizza.
So I'm sitting on the couch waiting for the wind chimes off of Mike's phone. No wind chimes. All of a sudden my phone rings. 810 number that I don't recognize. And I get used to it with DoorDash and stuff like that. I'm like, all right. I'm like, hello. Hey, how's it going? Mm-hmm. I'm like, hello. Hey, it's your favorite pizza delivery girl. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm sorry. Oh, I knocked and I rang the doorbell twice, but no one ever came, so I just had to call you. Like, you lying fucking bitch.
No knock, sucky, sucky.
I'm like,
Pizza,
there
pizza.
is a motion detector on his doorbell. connected to his phone that chimes, and there's an audible doorbell.
Dude, don't worry, because next week she's gonna have a.
Wi-Fi.
She's what?
She's on Wi-Fi.
And I guarantee you, next week she's gonna have a key. So
I go, oh, I'm so, being a normal person, I go, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, let me come to the door.
No, nothing about what you've done has been what normal.
This is all normal.
I agree with you more. Bob, thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
So I'm like, okay, let me come to the door. She's like, well, I'm going to have to walk back because I already went to my car. I'm like, why are you okay, great. That's your job. Walk back. So I go up and she's like, oh, I like those salmon color shorts. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
Todd found that.
I'm like, yeah, thanks. I'm like, yeah, they're just pink. They're pink shorts. And she's like, well, since I knocked.
Oh my God.
First of all, we're 15 feet from the door. No one knocked. And there's a motion detector and nothing happened. And there's a doorbell.
And you said she wasn't light on her feet.
She's not. You could hear her trucking up those wooden steps. Oh man. So she goes,
is this the same story?
yes.
Okay.
She goes, I knocked and I rang the doorbell and nobody showed up. So I had to look at the customer list and call your phone.
I had to eat that pizza.
Yeah.
It's gone.
not only the pizza.
So I go, oh, well, sorry about that. Thanks a lot. And she goes, well, you know what? Now you have my number.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Now you have my number and I'm single. And I go,
Word.
well, that's great. Have a good night. I fucking shut the door.
Is it lost on you that I knew what was happening in the very first exchange you spoke of?
Yes, it was lost on me the very first exchange because I did not feel that way. Yes.
Todd's telling you that he sussed all this out from the.
He
did.
You'll learn to feel that way.
Yeah.
No, I will not. Not for her.
It'll grow on you.
No.
She's gonna be in the house one way or another.
And I'm like, well, I guess I'm just gonna eat fucking breadcrumbs because I'm going to bring breadcrumbs home from work and eat that because I will not be ordering from Marco's anymore.
Stop saying the name.
The helicopter noise.
Yeah. Oh.
All right. Should we fucking move on to little TT's TikToks?
We can do that.
Todd, we need a theme song for this.
We do. I'm on it.
All right, sir.
Yeah. So Todd, as you're going to see here, I've had this video queued up on the TV. That's why we couldn't see you.
Yeah, I've been looking at it for the last 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that a butt?
I believe so.
Well, we'll see.
In some yoga pants.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
here's the first one.
I got it.
We're almost there. Good.
No.
Good. Gotcha right there. Good.
Poop.
Good.
Too far.
Yeah.
It did sound a little wet, didn't it?
Oh, Christ.
Hey, you know what's funny? That's not a real chiropractor because when I see my chiropractor, she always make me pull my pants down. It's my back that's bothering me.
But
you need to put your pants
But I
down.
also fart.
Amazingly, that's not the end of TT's TikToks. There's more.
I got two more real quick ones for you. So here's number 2. These guys actually they basically tell each other jokes and try to make each other laugh, and whoever laughs first ends up losing the contest for that day.
All right, so the caption here is, my favorite childhood memory is building sandcastles with my grandfather.
Oh, she's gonna say it.
Oh, sorry.
Favorite childhood memory is building sandcastles with my grandfather until my mother took the urn from me.
That is.
That's when I start.
Yeah, sorry, that was yeah.
Oh,
I don't understand that one.
I didn't get it.
No,
You guys didn't get it?
Yeah, I don't really.
You guys don't get the
No,
joke?
The urn, I get that, but I didn't.
How you don't
you not
find that
get it?
funny?
I mean, it wasn't
I don't.
All right.
wasn't really a leg slapper.
All right, fair enough.
F minus.
You know what you got? F plus.
So Todd, last week I introduced these guys to Coach Kent Murphy.
Oh no.
And
There's more of this?
there is plenty of Coach Kent Murphy. So
Good goddamn.
here's Coach Kent Murphy talking about being on deck.
Kids and coaches, today we're going to talk about being in the on-deck circle and the proper things to do. The number one rule to life is to never waste a good home run swing, especially on something stupid like fucking practice. Now your coach is probably going to tell you to do something like take some good cuts in the on-deck circle, and that's 100% wrong. The only thing you need to be doing up here is, say some dumb stuff to your teammates that you don't mean, and then keep your eyes peeled for the girl that you're going to try to drop some dong on later that night. So, Ernie, why don't you put an egg in your shoe and fucking beat it so I can teach these kids something.
That's Coach Kent Murphy for the week.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Shut up, Todd.
It says it all.
D minus.
D minus. Get out of here.
All right, Cory. Gentleman's agreement.
Oh, it's the MF and gentleman's agreement. Oh, done.
All right. Nick Bader did not watch his movie for the week. So he's gonna pick it up next week.
No, I will say something though.
Yeah.
A rebut, if you will. You won't, but
Okay.
if you will. So,
I won't.
like I told Bob, my apologies. I came home last night with the little time that I had, and I went to watch the movie, and it was not available. I could not download it. I could not purchase it. And it was only available on Showtime or Apple Plus, which I did not have. And I didn't have enough time to reach out to anybody. But I will say this. I have been watching whatever the fuck, Burn Notice. I've been going through...
Which is not what you were assigned.
It was what I was assigned a week ago. And I have gone through almost 3 seasons so far.
Wow.
So I'm working my way through. So I feel like I'm doing a little bit of the work that I don't have to.
Glad you can pat yourself on the back for that.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I mean...
Funny that bears no fruit on this podcast.
It does not. It does not.
Well, it's fine with me. I didn't assign it to him.
It does not. But no, I there was no way I could watch this. So Bob, since I told him this before the show, said that he's going to give me his login for Apple Plus so I can watch it and whatever I'm assigned for this week.
I'm turning Bob into the FCC.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm a upstanding citizen.
You're a whistleblower is what you are.
You son of a bitch.
That's in the upstanding citizen category.
All right, Cory. Had to watch The Quick and the Dead.
I did. And also I found out I was supposed to watch The Quick and the Dead from 1995.
What other Quick and the Dead is there?
Believe it or not, there is
boy.
a Quick and the Dead from 1965 about World War II.
Who the fuck why would you ever think that was what you were assigned?
That was literally the only thing that popped up when I put it into Just Watch.
I feel like almost every week you watch the
So
wrong
hang on.
movie.
No, so I started watching it.
Did you reach out to him and say?
Did you see Leonardo DiCaprio like we talked about last week?
I didn't remember any of that.
Oh, okay.
I was
Or Gene Hackman?
Yeah.
I was literally typing it into my phone. I'm like, this can't be right. And Danielle ended up waking up, and she started watching all about it. She's like, "This is terrible." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like,
But Nick
this is
gave
what
it to me,
This
so.
is what I was assigned. She's like, "Nick didn't watch this." I'm like, "Oh, he watches westerns and stuff." I'm like, Western. I'm like, why does that seem familiar? So that's when I really started looking into it. I'm like, dude, there was a 15-minute scene of them.
Did you rent it? Did you rent it?
No.
okay.
It was free on Pluto. Because I was about halfway through it.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The 1965.
The 1965 version.
Okay.
And yeah, dude. Oh, there was a 15-minute scene of them trying to clear landmines with their bayonets, and it was literally just every 5 minutes was one of them slowly sticking a bayonet into the dirt, pulling it out, and they just kept on. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, and I kept on checking to see how much time was left on this fucking movie, but found out it was not the correct one. So I found the correct Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
With DiCaprio, Sharon Stone. What's that, Todd?
You hated it even worse.
At first, I was like, well, I don't know how this is going to go. It could be worse. I might want to go back to the 65 version, but I mean, dude, Sharon Stone was 31 in that movie in her prime.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Oh God.
Yeah.
And some of the things she wore, the leather pants that clearly no cowgirl would have ever worn for any reason, but I'm glad they put them in the movie.
Why do you think I gave it to you?
So anyways, yeah, it is a Western, a more modern day Western that I was actually quite surprised that it came out in 95. I feel like when it came out, because once I started watching more and more of it, I'm like, I remember hearing about this movie, and I think at the time it was kind of considered a joke.
Were you 3 in 95?
That's
He
age
doesn't
math. He can't
understand
do
age
age
math.
math.
He does not get age math.
He doesn't know how old he was.
I was 7. I was 7.
He doesn't know. He doesn't
No,
know.
he has no idea.
So yeah, real long, young. Whoa, wow, very young Leo DiCaprio, Sharon Stone, Gene Hackman. Great cast. For a modern day Western, it was a good flick. It
was slightly entertaining, I would say.
Yeah, you obviously wanted to see who was going to be the winner of all the duels, and once it got down to a certain few, you're like, okay, I kind of see where this is going.
I think the eye candy helped it along.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Sharon Stone.
Had she not been in it, how interesting would it have been?
It would have been shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But I did find it very interesting that everyone in the movie, Russell Crowe.
Yep.
Everyone except for Russell Crowe and Sharon Stone were portrayed as like these dirty hobo, Western type of people, and that, their teeth were all gnarled and everything like that. But Sharon Stone and Russell Crowe, immaculate. Oh, and Leo DiCaprio too.
Bright white.
Yeah.
Their contracts.
Yeah, apparently, because everyone else was hideous, and they come out gleaming every time. But I will say, the one thing I didn't like about it after learning recently that Westerns that are based on where we talk about the saloon and all that with, the gambling going on, the prostitutes everywhere, never actually happened.
The Midnight Star.
The actual Midnight Star, yes.
Yep.
Come to find out, back in those days, women of any sort were not allowed in the saloon, so even prostitutes couldn't be there. Gambling was actually done in a completely separate area. There was a gambling hall, and brothels and all that were nowhere around. Like, they were in a separate building. And most Western countries, areas at the time, not countries, sorry, you couldn't even bring your weapons in. There was deadlines where the marshal would actually take your weapons from you when you came into town.
I mean, I'm sure at some point in a podunk town in the early west of Wyoming and things like that, there was a marshal per town. I'm sure they were not like, whoa, hold on. You got a whole town with one guy.
But people actually abided by the rules back then.
It was the Wild West, Corey.
Believe it or not, it wasn't that wild, buddy.
I don't buy that.
Either way,
I don't buy that.
Either way,
anyway,
truth or fiction.
So all these movies were just wrong.
Yes, they were actually. But it was a very good movie. It was very intriguing and held my attention all the way through.
Nice.
It was so. I agree with you on the aspect that it was like a forced Western. It was, and it's hard to, to me, like a good Western is a lot of people I don't recognize, but with good acting, and so when you have so many big name actors, it's kind of hard to suspend that disbelief. But yeah, it was very entertaining. I thought
it was definitely written well.
Yeah, I thought it was entertaining for sure.
So if you want to pick a random movie out there that you've never really thought about watching before, the Fast and the Dead. It was a good.
The Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead. Sorry,
Oh my God.
I kept saying that to myself last night too.
Fast and the Dead.
Fast and the Dead, Quick and the Dead, one and the same.
Fast and the nearly alive.
The Dead and the Furious.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a good pick.
All right, sir. I had Undercover Underage from Cory. So it's from Cory, so obviously it's a documentary. The main character is as a documentary, this is built around the notion that there are do-gooders out there who are willing to band together and marshal the resources in order to bring down pedophiles and those people who are preying on underage women. So the main character is a girl who has 3 kids, but looks young and poses online and over text and video as a younger girl, a 15-year-old girl, in order to attract and then to catch pedophiles in the act. So, the first couple of episodes were built around her and her crew trying to work a case with a John Doe who was proving to be, pretty elusive in evading their, they're trying to get all sorts of information from the interactions that this girl had with this guy online and trying to figure out, his location, where he might have worked, and anything that would get them some information to pass on to law enforcement to locate him so that he could, they could take him off the street so he couldn't, they assumed that they were only one of many girls that he was going after. So, it was really interesting to see someone actually participating in that sort of a sting operation. And as a parent, you got a pretty good look at her trying to play the role of a younger person, doing a job, but a job that clearly weighed on her soul and having to.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I couldn't even imagine.
It was a very heavy. This was not a like.
No, it wasn't lighthearted or upbeat.
No,
by any means.
No, not at all. But at least by the time I got to the second episode of the first season, they had progressed to the point where they could pass on the information that they had gotten on this guy onto law enforcement that they thought would, at least give them something to go on, some positive ID where they could then bring him in for questioning or, arrest him and charge him with, some sort of a crime that clearly they had been witness to him trying to do.
Right.
He was just very elusive. He knew, seemed like he knew exactly what to say and what not to say.
He was playing the exact same game that
yeah,
just dancing around, tripping himself up and saying something stupid that's going to get him in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So it was good, but it was something that it was very heavy.
Yeah, man, and like I say,
Very heavy.
And that, all the documentaries can't be sunshine and happiness, obviously, but
none of them have that.
But having seen this, it was just like this group of people, like they're not law enforcement.
No,
they're doing this. They are a nonprofit group doing this, and the amount of work they put into it is amazing. Like they put their heart and souls into this to be able to help not only their children but a lot of other people's children. And a lot of there was some cases where they would have all the evidence. They had everything ready to go.
Right.
But whatever prosecutor, whatever state that they were working out of was like, well, yeah, I don't know. I really have no time for that right now. So
some of them, yeah.
Yeah. And there was nothing they could do because again, they were not law enforcement. So they had everything prepackaged and ready to go. And so it kind of, to me, it showed a little bit of that disruption in the justice system. And there's there's a lot of groups out there that are not law enforcement that they were doing a way better job than a lot of law enforcement agencies could ever do.
But that's where, sorry to bring it back to this, but Batman, the vigilante, the anti-hero, those people who are willing to work outside of the law to catch criminals in their, to do something that the normal law enforcement can't do. Got to give it up for those people.
Robin Hood?
Yes, Robin Hood.
Yeah, and
100%.
And they never themselves stepped outside the law in order to get, someone to do something that they wanted. they by no means entrapped anyone. It was all, I mean, it was all above board on their end. So I mean, yeah, if you're looking for a very, very serious, in-depth topic,
Yeah.
I would say check it out.
For my personal, if I had to give it a Todd Dillon grade, probably be a solid B plus. But it's the kind of thing. It's kind of thing that it was really heavy. I don't see myself going back to it.
No, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
It was just, like I said, it was something that I watched that really caught my eye and attention.
And that's a great part about I probably never would have stumbled upon it. I never would have, upon seeing it, going like, oh, that's something I need to watch.
Right.
So you assigning it to me, it's something I never would have watched on my own. So, all right. Todd Dillon.
Yes, sir.
You back on the 12th of March.
Todd, where have you been?
Oh my God!
You had to watch The Killing. I can't remember by whom.
Me.
Nick.
Yes. And I'm wondering if Nick kind of typecast me.
He jangled you 100%.
Yeah, because The Killing was set in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like,
all those full circle.
All those white cast members.
And all those. It was. I'm still out on it. I watched The Assignment.
Yeah.
I will continue to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me set the table. I guess the synopsis, because I'm not really deep into it yet, but I will keep watching. But let me set the stage. Essentially, there's a woman police officer, and I can't remember her real name, but I've seen her in some other things before, but she's not like a super duper star. But she is a Seattle detective who is taking a job in Sedona. And going to be with her son and her new love interest out there for a quieter life and to get away from Seattle and the craziness that is here and the horrible weather. The series does do an interesting job of them getting pissed on in the rain really hard a lot, which I thought was kind of funny because I'm like, that's what everybody thinks of Seattle, but it's not quite like that. Yeah. But anyway, she gets this murder case on her very last day, and essentially she, due to not only her boss knowing how good she is, doesn't want her to leave, but then she actually gets emotionally caught up in it because she sees how horrible this is, and so she can't really let go. And so that's the start of it. And I haven't seen enough to spoil anything else, but I will say, when my first 20 minutes, I was like, this sucks. Nick assigned this to me because he's angry and it's just a Seattle theme. I kept finding myself not being able to kind of be emotionally involved. Then the detective that's meant to take her office, who came from Homicide, I'm like, oh, an actor I recognize. And I'm like, I like him. But he was totally not engaging for me, the first 20 minutes. But after the first episode ended, I found myself going, well, I need to see the second one, not only because that's part of my agreement, but because I'm actually interested to see where this goes. And so I watched the second episode, and I am hooked. I will be going back. So on its face, I'm going to give it a solid B right now, with an opportunity to improve or go downhill, mainly because I am now intrigued after watching 2 full episodes, and now I will see how good it really gets.
Yeah, I feel like I wholeheartedly agree with that sentiment. I mean, it was a slow start for me, and it was kind of like tantamount to be boring. I was like, this is all right. This, I'm really tired. This female detective, nothing to do with the fact that she's a female, but to describe her in the show of who I'm talking about, I'm like, okay, been there, done that. And then this guy, especially for me, I didn't know him before this series, and I really liked his acting, and he was so believable for me, in this kind of white trashy character that he portrayed, and it was weird.
With the freaking high school kids.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it just reminded me of like these white trashy kind of people that I knew, you know. And I was like, how is this dude a fucking detective? Like, I wasn't buying it, but I felt that it got better as it went on, and I'd be interested to find out what you think. And I've seen him in other things since, and I'm like, wow, he was just a good actor because he's nothing like that.
I think you're right, and like I said, again, I'm expecting a lot out of him. So but I was more hooked by the family of the victim.
Yeah,
the acting there for people I've seen in other things, but I couldn't tell you their name, and I can't tell you they've been in 3 things I've seen. That the way that they laid that out, brilliant. And I'm the hook is set. I'm gonna watch some more of it, but I'm eager to see how the characters develop.
Yeah, the parents. I mean, it got to the point where it did suspend that disbelief for me, and my heart like went out to those parents, and I was like, wait a second, this is not real, you know. But they did a phenomenal job, you know. So.
All right, that brings us to Greg.
Yes.
You had to watch Into the Wild.
I did.
All right, sir. Do you remember who gave this to you?
Me.
It was Nick.
Oh, boy.
Here we go.
We should have all seen it by now if he's giving it to Greg. So
he's never assigned that to me as far as I know.
I've had Into the Wild.
He assigned that to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was so... I think the premise behind the movie, it's more of it's a true story, kind of like a little relive of the past of somebody's life. Kind of just going through a young man who just graduated college, trying to find himself. And the more I watched it, I was like, well, that'd be a fun life, you know? Just move to Alaska was his whole goal.
You would think.
But when you're a complete fucking retard and you have no survival skills whatsoever, what do you think's going to happen at the end?
Yeah.
I have zero sympathy for the man.
Zero.
And I know he did, spoiler, he died at the end.
Silver spoon in his mouth.
Yes. What?
Did it bury him?
Did they? Some moose hunters found him and he was dead in a van after about 2 weeks in the middle of Alaska.
I thought a bear got him.
No, should have. The more like I like the concept of what he was trying to do, but the more I watched the movie, I just learned that he was a weak individual.
Yeah. And
could not deal with his home life. Couldn't deal. He kind of came from a broken home, and just I guess it's better him doing that than going and on a rampage and killing a bunch of people,
doing a bunch of drugs.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, there is a silver lining. He just did it to himself. But, overall, if you like that kind of stuff, it's tragic that he passed away. But at the same time, you know what? He didn't have a clue what he was doing. So
my goal was not for your empathy or your sympathy. My goal was for you to understand what I understood, which was this guy was an idiot. And that...
Yeah, 100%.
How could you make such stupid mistakes? He caused his own demise.
You like the movie?
So when I got done watching it, and Katie was, she walked in towards the end, and she goes, "Oh, they had to move the bus," and I just looked, like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Oh, that bus, they moved it because too many people were going to it." And I looked at her like, "This was a stupid fucking movie." I go, it's not. It's stupid because he's stupid. It's not like if you were like, oh, this guy, this is the movie, and then he's like, well, I did a whole bunch of training to find out what's going on, what to eat, what not to eat, how to hunt, just do some basic field dressing out, after you shoot a deer or whatever.
He was an idiot.
Yeah, he was just an idiot. He didn't know how to deal with his family being a wreck.
He was, he was a kind of a tortured individual, and he thought that, well, I'm just going to live the hippie life, without knowing anything about the wilderness.
Yeah.
And he went out there, and everyone feels like their heart goes out to this person because
Mine didn't at all.
No, neither did mine.
The only good thing he did is gave all his money away to some fund or something.
Yeah, and I thought the movie was well made.
Yes.
For the movie.
If you're following that story and you know about that story, and you do have some sympathy or even some empathy towards the whole situation, you'll love it.
I wanted
because he was great in that movie.
I
can't think of his name, but he was really good in that movie.
Yeah, he was a good actor.
Yeah.
But the person himself was a retard.
Yeah, he was stupid.
But so many people like idolize this person for following his dreams and doing all this. No.
Sweet, go play in traffic.
No, yeah.
Get off the earth already.
That doesn't make any sense. But the reason I gave it to you is because I felt like you were someone that would appreciate all the mistakes he made.
Yeah,
and understand that you'd be like, that it would invoke some sort of passion that you'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
Why
that's what I did. That's what I was doing throughout the movie, and I'm sitting there going, man, this is dumb. Why would you do that?
But don't misinterpret.
Would love to move to Alaska.
Yeah,
Am I ready to go? Not even fucking close.
But don't misinterpret. I gave it to you like, wow, this is.
It was greatly done, though. It was actually really good.
This was
really good.
Look how great this guy is. Like that was not the motive for giving you the movie.
You could ask Katie. You could ask her. I was like, this dumb mother.
Good. That's what I wanted. Because that's what I thought. And I thought the movie was well made, but he was so flawed.
100%.
It was ridiculous. He died in a bus. Why?
Because he ate the wrong fucking.
Because he ate the wrong plant. Because
Yeah.
he's a fucking moron. And he died from the inside out. And all these photos and all these letters, and everyone's like, oh my God, look at him. He's so emaciated. And he took one last photo with his Polaroid, and he held up a sign that said, like, if you
just
see
know
this,
I died in peace and what I
life
love.
is wonderful. And it's like, no, you didn't have to die. You were like in your 20s. You didn't have to die. You were a moron. You didn't know the woods. That was it. So, yeah.
Anyways.
I got you upset. That was
I
made
did,
me happy. Because it made me upset.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Before we exit gentleman's agreement, can I ask for one thing?
No.
Careless whispers one time.
No. A moment of silence for Estelle Harris. Thank you.
Oh, we didn't do one for Betty White?
Didn't we?
No. You thoughtless motherfucker.
Or Greg's friend.
But I love Mrs. Costanza.
All
right.
Doesn't love. All right, fair enough.
So new assignments.
Yep. Newest. No. Oh, sorry. Moment of silence for Betty White. Alrighty.
Goddamn lucky Betty White, because we don't barely have a second for you right now.
Wait a minute. What about Bernie Mac?
What the fuck? New assignments.
That's too long ago.
New assignments. I've drawn Todd. Cory has me. Todd has Greg, and Greg has Cory.
Who does Nick have?
You're not getting one this week. You got a thing to watch.
Sounds good. That's fine. Fine.
Yep.
I'm okay.
Alrighty. Todd.
Mm-hmm.
You have the limey.
Greg.
Todd.
Greg.
Todd.
Greg.
What the fuck? Oh shit! All right. While Todd's burbling at the mouth,
I'm good.
We're gonna be doing a Schnozzcast shot to close this out before we can hopefully squeeze in pick of the week. So, if you got a shot, join us. Clink 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 clink.
What's going on?
Woo!
We're just doing.
You guys have me.
Bob was going to give you a movie, and I think you were trying to give me a movie at the same time.
Okay. So I was screwing up?
Todd.
Yes, sir.
I've drawn you.
Okay, I'm ready.
You have the limey.
Oh, okay. Got it.
I assume that you have not seen it.
I've never even heard of it.
All right, but based on the last movie I signed to you, which was Sexy Beast, this seemed appropriate. So you have the limey, Limey.
Got it.
All right, Cory, you got me.
Have you seen Too Funny to Fail? On Hulu.
I will look and let you know. I honestly don't know.
All right.
Okay. Todd, you got Nick. Or sorry, you got Greg.
I'm ready. Hey, Greg, have you seen Dope Sick?
Yes. I just started watching it. It's a TV show, right, on Hulu?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just started
Michael
watching
Keaton? Yeah.
Yes. Love it. Okay. Have you seen The Dropout?
it. Dropout.
Also on Hulu.
The Dropout?
The Dropout.
Okay.
Another series based on reality.
No, that I definitely haven't seen that then.
All right. So we're good with that, which brings us to Greg. You got Cory.
2. I just had some. Have you seen Dark Skies?
It does not sound familiar.
I believe it is on Netflix.
Dark Skies. Why does this sound familiar?
I don't even think I've even heard of it.
Let me guess, Greg. Is it science fiction?
You know, it's to some it might be
That's
science fiction.
That's a bold choice given who you're signing it to.
No, it's look it up. Look it up.
No,
It's
that's not going to help. That's not going to help.
It's about a subject that some
worse.
people think is science fiction, but others think is truth.
Aliens.
So you're 50% fucked on this, is what you're saying.
I think no, because
You are 50% fucked.
it's about UFOs. Yes.
Show me the title screen.
Oh, I don't know where the. it's not gonna
So
go.
you don't think UFOs are science fiction?
No.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear how this goes.
UFOs, technically, the truth.
But I know he does go into UFOs though, because he gave stuff to him.
Yeah, no, I'm good at that. I enjoy that genre.
Yeah, I just don't watch documentaries all day long, so I can't give him.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's
I
a
don't.
short list
Yeah.
of people who do that.
I know who does.
No one here.
Cory loves sci-fi.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to pick of the week. Cory, I feel like we've probably got 6 minutes, five or 6 minutes.
8 minutes, buddy.
8?
Yep.
We can do
Sweet.
this.
I got a pick of the week.
Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, my pick of the week is really, really easy. The Oculus Quest 2.
You son of a bitch.
All right, hold on. Give Todd a chance to elaborate. Go ahead, Todd.
No, I haven't been on in a while, but I think right before ended up getting one, which is a whole interesting story in itself. Right before I was on my leave of absence from the cast. Was everybody laughing? Did somebody already do this or?
No.
We all know exactly how deep and what a cut to the bone this review is for Nick Boehner.
No, it's fantastic, actually, Todd. I got one for Christmas, so I love it, and all these guys have been shown it. But it's very limited on the software or the programs that I've
Hold
had.
on, this is not your review.
No, I know.
This is Todd's
I'm giving
review.
my answer to his question.
So again, I'm new. It's very immersive. The things I ended up buying a couple of things. I actually got gifted a game recently. The Room, which is a bunch of puzzles, and it's supposed to be scary. I'm not scared, but it is super immersive. I think it's an amazing kind of thing where literally I thought I was doing this thing for about 15 minutes, and then about an hour and a half went by. Me trying to figure stuff out. It's very immersive. The fact you have a supercomputer on, well, not a supercomputer, but a really high-powered computer on your head is very, very cool. So that was my pick of the week. And for the price point at $400 for the 256 gig, do it. Do it.
So
do it.
Todd, we'll have to talk more about it, and because there are so few games for the Quest 2, we should go back and forth like texting. Like if you find something or if I find something, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that are awesome in VR that are shut up, Bob. That are yeah.
Bob's waiting for the new
so many
flashlight.
things I could say, but I'm not going to. But But there are so many things that are cool for VR where you're like, oh, that'd be awesome. Let me get it for my Quest 2. And, oh, no, it's on the Oculus One, or it's on if you have the PC link, or, whatever the fuck it may be. So we'll go back and forth.
Sounds good. But that was my pick of the week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm really sorry. This is like it's like if you bought yourself a brand new puppy and you're like, oh, I can't wait to show my friends. And you get there and one of your friends knew that you got a puppy and they're like, look at my puppy. My puppy's better than your puppy.
I mean, that was the only thing that helped me through the Super Bowl was just putting on my Quest 2.
All right. Who else got a Todd?
What's that?
I watched a basketball game on it, and I thought that was very cool.
Hey, Todd, just so
Have
you
you
know,
watched the Schnozzcast on
I was going to say, before we finish that, if you go to YouTube VR on your Quest, you can watch us on like a 200-inch screen for the Schnozzcast.
You can watch my big fat white face.
Bob's face
Filling
is in way too much high definition.
Yes.
And you actually have to turn your head left to right.
Am I on there too?
Yeah, you are.
Well, then that's what we're looking at.
Download YouTube VR
Fair enough.
for your Quest 2, and you can just type in Schnozzcast.
Fair enough.
It's amazing.
How many minutes I got now, Cory?
GMF, Bob.
6.
4 minutes.
Greg, you got a pick?
Nope, I'll pass
All
you
right.
guys.
Cory.
I have the Ohi. That's how I'm going to.
The what?
The
I
Ohi.
think he sneezed.
Yes, close enough.
Spell it.
AOHI.
Okay.
MagCube 30-watt MacBook charger.
I'm sorry. Hold on, real quick.
Oh,
Does anyone else not think that that's Cory's fucking life phrase of "oh hi"? does anyone else not understand
Keep
that?
going, Cory.
We got a time limit here, buddy.
Keep going, Cory.
So rather than carrying around a big, huge MacBook Cube that you would use to charge your laptop with, this company's finally made chargers powerful enough that are pocket-sized, that you can use to charge any MacBook laptops or anything that needs like 30, 50 watts, 60 watts. They even make a 90-watt one. Very compact, very light to carry around, rather than carrying around that big old stupid cube that you normally have to with your MacBook or laptop.
Okay.
I don't care. Shit, I have a dude who does that.
Well, Todd, we don't all have helicopters and golf courses on our land, so.
Nick.
Fun.
Yep, mine real quick. Mine real quick is Marketplace e-liquid. MRKTPLCE is the brand. It's an e-liquid, and the more specific flavor is pineapple, peach, dragonberry. It's fantastic if you vape.
Oh, I thought it was a drink. It's not. I thought it was a kombucha.
Nope, it goes into a vape, and it's fantastic.
If I don't vape, it just sucks ass.
Yep.
You can drink it, Todd. You can actually drink it straight.
Yeah, drink it right out of the bottle.
Just checking.
Right.
I'm going to save mine for next week.
All right.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on behalf of Nick, Cory, Todd, and special guest Greg Gumtow. This is Bob saying goodbye. Oh, see you next week.